Hello, welcome back or welcome. Adding a new item to my wardrobe is always exciting, but I rarely have the desire to add more purses or bags to my wardrobe, and I think it's because I actually have a pretty good system down when it comes to working with a relatively small collection of bags. And I think you can be strategic about your color and design choices to get the most out of a small number of bags without feeling too bored with them. So this video was inspired by one of your comments for me to share my bag collection. So I'm gonna walk you through my thought process on how I try to maximize the use of all of the bags that I own. So I have 5 main bags that I rotate between, I'd say like 90% of the time. I have my Ivory shoulder bag, I've got my black crossbody bag, I also have a black shoulder bag, which I can also kind of wear as a crossbody bag, but I try not to do that. And then I have a red shoulder bag, and I've got this khaki shoulder / crossbody bag. I do have some other bags that I definitely reach for far less often, and I'll walk you through those as well later in the video. Design-wise, this is just my preference, so I'm not trying to tell you you need to have multiple shoulder bags or crossbody bags in your everyday collection. Everybody has different tastes. It's just that my own preference happens to lean towards bags that are a little bit larger in size. I also like having my hands free, so a shoulder or a crossbody bag just works for me. I do think that having a couple of versatile designs is good. For example, I've got my Ivory bag and my black shoulder bag, both of which are pretty easy to dress up or down, so that's kind of a nice option to have. So here's how I use each of these bags and how I kind of assign a specific purpose to each of them. So with this first bag, my Ivory shoulder bag, the main purpose for this one is contrast. If you've been following me, you know that my contrast level is pretty high. It's not like super high, but it's like medium high-ish. And I tend to like darker colors in my clothes. I own a lot of blacks, browns, dark blues, and I don't always like creating contrast with my outfits, mostly for practical reasons. Like if I wear a dark top, for example, then to create contrast, I would have to wear a lighter colored bottoms, but that's not always ideal, especially when I live in a city that rains so much. Also, I'm quite clumsy, so I'm always a little bit nervous about wearing something that's super light. And this Ivory bag is such a good way of adding a higher level of contrast to my outfit. Unless I'm intentionally dressing in all black and I'm trying to match that with black accessories as well, when I'm wearing other dark colors like brown or dark blue, I do like using a lighter color to create a higher level of contrast. So this bag is my go-to whenever I feel like there isn't enough contrast or the overall color theme is too dark. It's just a nice way of adding that pop of lightness. The material on this is faux leather, and I generally think that when it comes to faux leather, lighter colors tend to look less faux or cheap looking than darker colored faux leather. That's just my personal opinion, so I kind of like that about this bag as well. And design-wise, it's pretty casual, but it does have some details that give it a bit more of a structured look, and it's also quite minimal as well. So I just find it to be really easy to dress up or down. It's also got a good size, so I can fit a lot of things in here. So this is probably one of my most used bags on a daily basis. The next bag I have is this black crossbody, and the main purpose of this guy is to add a casual feel to the look, especially when I'm wearing things like blazers and trousers. Like whenever I feel like the outfit feels a little too formal, I like adding this crossbody just to add a touch of like a sporty and casual feel. To be honest, if I really wanted to cut down the number of bags in my collection, I could technically use my black shoulder bag and wear that as a crossbody. But I personally like the the crescent design and like the very minimal details that give this bag a bit more of a casual look. It is also faux leather, and this one I got as a gift from a friend who I think also got this as a gift, like a gift with purchase type of thing, because it says not for sale and it doesn't have any other like logos or labels inside. And honestly, when I first got it, I wasn't sure if I was gonna use it all that often because it does kind of have this cheap look to it, but I was actually wrong. I do reach for this item a lot more often than I thought I would. With that said, I do want to upgrade to a higher quality bag one day, especially now that I know that I really enjoy wearing this design. If I come across something similar of a higher quality, I'll definitely go for it, but I'm not in a huge rush. And then I've also got this black shoulder bag, which I like to call my when in doubt bag, because it has such a classic feel to it, and it's a good size, like not too big or not too small. It's a really good quality as well. And design wise, it's quite versatile because it has this structured shape to it, but when you wear it, it also has a slouchy feel. So it's just really hard to go wrong with this item for any of my outfits. So if I had to pick one bag out of everything that I have, I would choose this one. It's actually a close tie between this one and the Ivory bag, but this one is a better quality because it's real leather. So if you're looking to declutter or downsize your bag collection, or if you're looking for that one bag, I would say go for something that has a decent quality. Like, it doesn't have to be designer, but just something that'll last you for a while. I'd also say something with a classic shape and details is good, and something that's moderate in size. So this bag for me is really that like when in doubt bag, like I said, because it meets all of those categories. I also think that having a pop of color bag is such an easy way to add that extra something to your outfit and your style. For me, that pop of color is this red shoulder bag, and I'm such a fan of this whole like slouchy silhouette, and this is such a perfect red for me. I usually struggle with finding the right shade of red. They're either too bright or too dark, but this one is just perfect. And it's made of suede, so it adds that nice texture as well. And this is such a great item for me to just add a little bit of visual interest to my outfits. I personally wear this a lot with black, and I've been finding that it works really well with my leopard print pants as well. I also tried to pair this with my red sneakers, but the reds are slightly different between the two, and that always bothers me a little bit. And this was a secondhand purchase, so it was very economical for me. I think I spent like maybe $30 on it, but I did look up the brand and it seems pretty reputable. So having this type of go-to pop of color bag is such a great addition to your bag collection, I think, if you don't already have one. It obviously doesn't have to be red. It can be any color that's your favorite or that's gonna work well with your wardrobe. And I think it can also be quite inexpensive because quality is not the main point here. The focal point of this bag is adding that pop of color and that visual interest. So I don't necessarily think it has to be the highest quality, although if you can afford it, then why not? And then I also have this olive green khaki shoulder bag in this puffy material, and the main purpose for this one is to color match. Like I said, I do try to color match with my red bag, but finding that exact shade of red is kind of difficult, whereas with the khaki I find it a bit easier because it is a more neutral color. It is also more common in my opinion, and I find even if the colors are slightly different, it's not as noticeable as it is with red. I also like this olive green khaki color. I have a few items in this color already, so it's just really easy for me to match this color with my other accessories and tops that I own. I used to use this brown bag for color matching a lot, just because I have some accessories like belts that match this color well, but the khaki bag I find to be more my style just because it's more casual. I didn't really intend to replace the brown bag, but I just ended up getting the khaki bag as a gift during my visit to Korea earlier this year, and I do find that it is more aligned with my overall style, so I've been reaching for this one more frequently than the brown one. I do find the color to be slightly dark for summer, so I might opt for the brown one more during the summertime. So those are the 5 main bags that I rotate between, I'd say like 80–90% of the time. And like I showed you, they each have a specific purpose. But I also have some bags that I reach for far less frequently. I've shown you my brown bag already, but I have another brown bag. And this one I just find to be too small and too structured. And honestly, I never reach for this, so I can totally live without it. I also have this shoulder bag, which is actually a clutch, but I put this gold strap around just so I don't have to hold it with my hand all the time. And I don't mind having this for like formal occasions like weddings. Whenever I feel like my black shoulder bag is too large, I just tend to reach for this one because it's smaller. It has a bit more of a feminine look. So I think it's just a good evening bag. And it's a vintage Celine that I got off of Poshmark years ago. I do also have this clutch, which I've used in so many of my styling videos. And I really love the edgy details on this, but it's just not practical because like I said, I like having my hands free, so I just feel like I don't really reach for this as often as my other bags. I do like having 2 options for an evening bag, the previous shoulder bag with the gold strap and this clutch. The shoulder bag is a bit more classic and feminine, and this one just adds a little bit more edginess. And then I have this backpack, and I like that it's made of faux leather because it's not as casual as your regular canvas backpack. And I just use this whenever I need to carry a lot of stuff. And I've had this item since I was in university, I think. So it is actually starting to peel quite a bit, and I will need to replace this item soon. I've been thinking about getting a waterproof backpack just for the practicality for Vancouver weather, but I don't know, I just can't seem to get rid of this one. I think I'm really attached to it. So that was all of the bags in my collection. I've got the 5 main ones that I rotate between, and then I've got the 4 to 5 occasional bags that I reach for less. I'll probably get rid of this brown bag that I showed you earlier. And maybe this is not a small enough collection for some, because I know we probably all have a different idea of what small means. But for me, this is a really good mix that provides me enough versatility without decision fatigue. So I hope this video gives you some ideas about your own bag collection, whether you're looking to add more items or you're looking to downsize. I'll see you in my next video, and until then, stay unique and stay gorgeous.